I can't sing the song I want to sing because then we'll get banned or put on notice or something for copyright violation, blah, 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 blah.
Well, at least you've put clothes on so we won't get banned for nudity.
Today has been a fun day.
And what qualifies as a fun day for you?
Well, it doesn't sound very fun. And it wasn't actually, but we'll skip over that part. Luna woke me up at 5 to do things. And it was cold, so she didn't spend too much time outside. But then I had to feed her, had to water the cat, feed the cat. Then I had to medicate the dog, kick the cat a few times. And by that time, I was like, all right, I'm up. So I had I started a cup of coffee, did some other stuff, came back to my keyboard, started things up. Where the hell was I? What was I doing? What am I doing today? I think I'm actually going to try and write the end of this really goddamn hard scene that's killing me. And I attacked it, and I attacked it, and I attacked it. And every time I got through one paragraph, I had to go to the internet and start searching.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am describing a place that really exists. And I found this wonderful tool. If I can look it up in my bookmarks. See, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I found this wonderful tool. And it is ustopographic-map.com. Or just topographic-map.com. It allows you to basically focus in, from what I can see anyway, on any part of the world and go look at every part of it and see what its elevation is. So it allows me to basically forecast pretty well how many meters of water are here or there based on my models of what happened previous to this book. So that took a load off me because I didn't know quite how to describe things. And I didn't want to be completely accurate because there are going to be changes between my version of what's there and what's there actually now. Or maybe what isn't there. Time sucks. You know what? Time scales suck. Timelines suck. Time just sucks in general. Anyway, it allowed me to finish setting the rest of the scene. It allowed me to get through the scene, and the 3 paragraphs that I wrote took probably about an hour.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was frustrating, and I took 2 breaks because it was frustrating. And then I got through that, and I started writing another piece, and I went, wait a minute, is this really a thing? And went and looked and went, no, that's not a thing. That was never there, Paul. That's not happening. I was, fuck. So I had to basically throw away 300 or 400 words that I've written and then basically start again and backtrack a bit and splice things together. And by the time I was done, the 1,100 words had moved on to 2,700 words. And it had gotten me all the way through the scene, doing what I need to do, setting up exactly what I need to set up for the next thing. And it gave background for all of that. It was a glorious day, and I was exhausted.
Yeah, you've got, different words for what's glorious than I would.
The reason it was glorious is once I got past that hump, all the rest of the words just tumbled out until I hit the next hump. One of the characters is a soldier, and she is wondering if the sound of a tsunami right before it smacks you on the head is anything like X. In my brain, I was like, okay, I wonder if it sounds like a mortar shell. Then wait a minute. I described that and went, well, let's go see what that actually sounds like. See if I can actually get a non-movie thing of this. Turns out modern mortar shells don't sound like anything. There's just a thump and then either a bang somewhere else or a bang on top of you.
So you don't hear them incoming?
You do not hear the incoming.
Well, that's rude.
I was shocked. Now, I went back and I went through a Quora post that was written by a whole bunch of former infantry mortarmen, a whole bunch of different posts. And this was from all over the place. We had accounts from Kosovo. There's this other Merc site that's got dozens of things hanging off of it. Supposedly factual. Yeah, Mr. Dangly Bits. You know, it's supposedly recognized that these guys know what they're talking about. And they had kind of had the videos to go along with it, for better or worse. But they were going into great lengths about the history of the mortar and the fact that during World War II, those shells whistled on purpose because the idea was to try and get the civilians to scatter before the stuff came down and to instill terror. Because you really wanted them out in the street when the shells hit. That's where all the shrapnel was going to fly. So it was just like, I don't know if this actually happened or they talked about this. The apocrypha I heard was when they originally were going to drop the nuclear bomb, they thought about putting a siren on it.
Because you could possibly run far enough to make a difference.
No, that was the whole point. The accounts would be, hey, hear this sound? This means you're fucked. You better start praying. You got about 15 seconds. Which is pretty fucking cold. But that's exactly the same reason why those shells whistle. So modern mortar rounds don't have that unless you modify.
Newer, kinder artillery.
Yeah. It turns out that today's mortar shells go so fast, it won't matter. The shell either hits you or misses you before you hear anything. Except for maybe the last possible second when the pressure wave comes at you. Anyway, it was fascinating history of the mortar and how many of these guys are deaf. People who fired the mortars. And I had no idea they were that loud when they went off, but because in the movies, it's always just a thump. Turns out back in the day, but back in the day being 10 years, the damn things are just freaking loud.
Yep.
And those accounts also went into how mortar shells actually work. About rifling and the striker, and those two things combined arm it. And what to do with defective shells and what people have done. And mortarmen who made a mistake and actually flinched when a round misfired and put their hand over the mortar, and then the mortar went through their hand as it was coming out the other side. Yeah, stuff like that. Good times. Things I didn't know anything about. All because of one fucking metaphor I was trying to put in.
You know, I think I'd have went for a different metaphor.
I got curious because it actually was a good thing. I can now relate other events to this because this was a soldier in the army. She knows what that kind of shit sounds like, or doesn't, I would think. Look at you. Terry's just happy listening to me babble and stroking his cat.
It's true. I've got to go ahead and give Screamer love because she's lonely.
Do they have a cat line for that? Is there some telephone number they secretly call when they're lonely? Well, probably not in your house.
All she has to do is, talk, but it's only been a week and a half since her sister passed.
Oh, yes.
So she's still a bit needy.
Nah, she's always been kind of needy.
She has, but she's 18 years old, so she's entitled.
Yes. They get that way. Did you not
God
notice?
bless, boy. I got to tell you, this has been a busy week for me.
What else do you have going on besides the fact that you have kitties demanding attention and eating your face?
I had been posting chapters from the book that I'm titling War Footing for the moment. The title will probably end up changing, but that's a good working title. The third book in the Imperial Marine saga. And I've been posting it to my patrons. I was giving them the hot take right out of Dragon, but I'm not satisfied. Just like the last time I tried this, I'm dissatisfied with the level of transcription quality. So I'm going back and giving it a quick read and updating the chapters before I record new. It's time that I'm going to have to spend one way or the other. This is a secret that most people that want to be writers don't realize. You're not going to ever save time. No matter what you do, if you shave off the time in the front, you're going to end up spending it on the back end.
Phrasing? Yeah.
So you just got to find a process that works for you and say, screw it, I'm going to do this. Even if it feels like I'm not accomplishing something, I am actually accomplishing something.
This is why I was so gloriously happy that it only took me an hour to get 600 words. Because those were 600 goddamn important words. That's why.
Well, this is true. But in any case, I had hoped to get that wrapped up by Monday so I could get back to writing new chapters and getting them out. And that's not happening because the edits for the co-authored novel landed on me 3 or 4 days ago to deal with. And so that's being wrapped up today, but it totally derailed my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So my patrons are going to end up waiting until probably Tuesday or Wednesday before they start seeing new content.
Don't. That's horrible.
It is what it is.
Those poor people. What were they thinking?
They can sit back there and curse and shake their fists in anger.
In anger. You should say it just like that. In anger.
Anger. Oh my gosh, the publication schedule, the writing schedule for the next 3 months is going to be crazy. I've got so much to get done.
No more vacations for you, Bubba.
Yeah, going to Vegas, that totally derailed me in a way that, I could have probably done without, but it was a lot of fun and I'll do it again.
It's usually been my experience is the vacations that you most need are when you can least afford to have them.
Pretty much.
I'm planning on this being dead time. Yeah, those are the times you're going to be working 120-hour weeks. Not like I have the strength or power to do that anymore, but that's beside the point. Yes.
That's what she thinks.
Exactly. That is what she thinks. My God. So is that all that's going on in your neck of the world?
I don't know. I honestly don't have any idea. I've been so wrapped up in doing computer stuff, doing writing stuff, that I haven't had a chance to focus on a lot. Why are you yelling at me? Stop yelling. Now she wants downstairs.
Of course. Oh, screamer.
No. Was that asked in a specific way to go ahead and elicit a response? I know that I've had an audiobook come out in the last week. So last week, maybe the last 2 weeks.
Which one?
So, Gunboat Diplomacy, book 14 in the Empire Saga.
God damn. I'm never going to catch up in your books. It's just never going to happen. 14? God damn. I hate you. So much. What's it like now for you when the audiobook drops like that? Do you still get excited or are you just like, that happened?
I'm more on the lines of that happened.
Publish it. Now I have to basically let people know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the line of, oh, that happened. I don't have time to listen to it anymore. Who has time to read anymore? Holy moly.
Oh, lately not a whole lot. Trying to fix that hardcore because there are a bunch of books I want to read now. Unfortunately, there are things prohibiting me from getting access to them at this time. But that's about it. About all I know about that. But it would be nice to read again extensively, other than nonfiction, so to speak. Too much research, boba. What are you doing with that cat?
Right now, I'm just holding her.
I don't know. She looks to be taken hostage.
Is she a hostage?
No, definitely a hostage. Definitely a hostage. So, Terry.
Yes, sir.
I had a moment today, and I thought...
You have moments every single day.
I thought to myself, Terry would be so proud of me for this moment.
Oh, boy. I can't wait to hear this one.
Terry would be so proud of me for this moment of abject stupidity.
I'm always a fan of abject stupidity. Tell me more.
I had this great moment of abject stupidity where I saw before me 5 or 6 more books in the Black series. Well,
I told you that last week.
related series. Because I've created an entity called K&B Construction, which I think I've mentioned before. So they're mentioned in Evolution at the end. They're basically a troubleshooting core, but I got a chance to basically, with this book for the Black Oceania, I got a chance to basically say, okay, let's push on with that. Let's find out more about that. I want to know what the fuck's going on here, which then entailed revealing more about Dr. Moore, revealing more about Sarah from Outbreak, all these different things. And then being able to drag in a whole new crew that we've never met before as readers and find out what they're about. And find out that they're a multi-purpose, kind of shady multi-purpose troubleshooting team. The military.
A Blackwater of troubleshooting.
Blackwater ops, if you will. Kinds of things you shouldn't ask about, but they are K&B employees. So we're getting basically everything turned around going, what the fuck is K&B engineering really about? So I've opened all that up now, and it just made it so exciting for me because now I've opened up other opportunities for other entities existing at the same time as the Black does. And we just are now kind of finding out about it. Maybe. I haven't decided how far I'm going to push with it yet. Because I really could push with it. There's a balance I have to strike because I can't go above a certain threshold before it will cause problems in another series.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take this monster and we're going to weaponize it for our own profit. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh my God. I make that joke several times in, I think it's Evolution where I make that joke. Or maybe it's Arrival. Maybe it's both of them about what a great cleaner it would be, the Black. What a great household cleaner it would be if it wasn't, too busy eating the grime and your face, sprouting tentacles and, wandering around and doing things like that. Otherwise, it make a great solvent. Pretty much dissolves anything, given enough time.
Where's my house? You were gone too long. The whole house?
There's nothing but metal, really brittle metal and concrete left. Nothing else. And the glass doesn't look too good either. Yeah. So I thought you would be very proud of me for this because then it means I've got all these other things that are unrelated to the Black, but in that same universe that now I can toy with. And origin stories out the yin-yang.
Yep. I am proud of you.
And I hate you so much. And they don't even have to be directly related. They can be tangentially related and nobody will give a shit.
There you go.
Fait accompli.
You're a winner, baby.
Fuck you. So I've got the first episode of Oceania is going to drop in 14 days.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
One of the reasons why I'm also gloriously happy, and you're going to yell at me. I threw away 1,200 words of the original prologue.
Yeah. I'm not going to yell at you. Prologues are evil. You should throw away the rest of it.
Then I had to add 1,600 more.
Damn it. Now I'm going to yell at you.
Too much time passes for a chapter 1. Sorry, just not. Well, you and I are going to agree to disagree about this particular.
I actually believe a large time jump is a reason for a prologue.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There you go. It's a prologue. And I thought to myself, I could have 5 or 6 different prologues, and that would make it another completely different book. Do not do that, Paul. Because this prologue could have gone on for a while. And I went, if I read the prologue that long, the rest of this book better be about 90,000 words. And that's not happening, he says.
So you just need to go ahead and write like 5 prologues and then leak all of them online and go, which one of these will actually lead into the story? Blah, blah, blah.
No, it gets even better than that. I can make this, since this is going to be a Patreon exclusive, Ko-Fi exclusive, whatever, for time being. I could go ahead and write those as bonus portions, the rest of the action that takes place before get in there, and that will not be in the final published product. But right now, I don't have time to do that shit. I need to get like a lot of words done.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Because I need to record. In fact, I need to record yesterday. But that notwithstanding. Yeah, time. What is time anyway? This thing constantly ticking down. Constantly ticking down. So with that, that leads to another question.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell am I going to get all that done while I get Station 3 done?
You know, that is a challenge.
How do you do it?
I don't. I focus on one project at a time.
Well, I'm trying something new, which is since none of my processes work, I have to constantly try and find new ones. What I'm trying now is a mixture of what I was doing before, which is I got to get something done. I have everything in the world to do. So pick one. This morning, I'm going to go, I keep a wallpaper on one of my monitors that has a view of Makata Island in the Duke of York Islands. So every time I come into my room, that's there. And it just makes me go, okay, I fucked that place up. I want to keep fucking that place up. And every morning I look at it, my brain starts going into Oceania land. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we got to get back there. I want to do this. So I write until I'm done with that. And if I'm done with it, I go back, take a break. If I come back and I've said what I have to say on that story, then I can go grab another one. Well, hey, there's Station 3. Let's go chunk out on that. I don't feel obligated to get any of it done. It's what do I feel like doing? And what I've realized is by doing that, I'm not kicking out absurd word counts, but I am getting 700 or 800 words an hour and a half each time I do that. Sometimes a lot more, sometimes less. And with coding, the way things have been going, it's been less and less and less lately. But by coming back and forth, it's kind of saving me time. And this was funny because I was thinking about the fact that I've been doing this and it's working. At the same time, somebody put out a tweet saying John Scalzi cannot possibly call himself a professional writer if he only writes 500 words a day.
Depends on how many bucks he's paid for that.
Said no professional writer is going to spend that little time on a book and should get paid for it. And
Once you've got an audience big enough, you can afford to do that stuff.
Neil Gaiman responded, I wrote Coraline 50 words a night. Mic drop. "50 words a night, has a show on Broadway, TV, bestseller, yada, yada, yada." Yeah, it's not a pro either. Yeah. obviously there is a level of truth to that. If you have the money to survive long enough to do it that way, yeah, you could do it 50 words a night if you can afford to do that. Or if you're working on 5 different books and getting 50 words a night on each of them, that kind of adds up after a time.
Sounds like something you should try.
Believe me, I thought about it. Right now, I'm trying to get just 1 scene a day in each of them done. That's all I'm asking of myself. 1 scene a day.
Well, considering your scenes might take 70,000 words, that's maybe asking a lot.
My scenes, my target for a scene now is 2,200 words. That's my target.
So you're trying to get how many scenes done a night?
If I get a scene per book done, that would be 3 scenes. That would be 7,000 words or so.
Only 7,000 words a night. Who needs sleep?
I didn't say a night. In a day.
You did, actually. You did.
No, I said Neil Gaiman gets 50 words a night.
Well, you were saying you tried to get 3 scene done for every book every night. That's what you said.
Okay, fuck that. Per day.
Regardless of what I said. Even as we count it as per day, 7,000 words is a pretty ambitious word count goal.
It is. So half a scene. Or I leave that scene whenever I leave that scene. And if the next scene is there in that book, then maybe I'll stay on that scene. It just kind of depends. I'm letting it meander at this point. But I need to get back to station 3 as well. And I've been afraid to go down that path. So I'm just going to say, fuck it, do the Terry Mixon way and go down that path that I should not go down.
Go boldly where you shouldn't be.
Oh, it's going to change this book so much. Oh, it hurts. Anyway, fucker. And then that's what I'm going to try and do. And then, of course, I have to get the coding done. So that's another portion of block of time. But basically, I'm going to spend an hour, maybe with a break or 2 in between there, doing what I need to get done on one task, and I'll switch to another one. Fuck it. Unless the task I'm working on goes into another task, and then I'll just keep doing that. All right, I got to spin the blocks. It does mean that whatever my favorite book is at the time I'm working on is going to get done sooner than the others that are actually due.
That is challenging.
It is. It is. But everybody wants another black book, so we got to get it done. Then I got to figure out how I'm going to republish all this mess. I blame Terry for all of it. I really do.
I accept this blame.
Do you really? I don't think you do. I don't think you understand the extent of your responsibilities.
Well, I never said I take responsibility for anything. I'll just accept the blame.
That sounds like something I would say. It really does. What the hell are we going to talk about today, Bubba?
The way we're looking at things and you're writing, it sounds like we should talk about how to juggle things.
Juggling.
Because Lord knows I'm busy juggling things too.
We are really a couple of entitled bozos. We're both
Speak for yourself, pal.
We're both able to work from home. Neither one of us has children in the house. Our responsibilities for other people are pretty much limited to our spouses. So we have a luxury of being able to work anytime we want, mostly, and don't have necessarily a set schedule. Unlike people who have actual jobs, who have to clock in every day, go to an office, or even being online remotely every day for 10 or 12 hours a day. I know some folks are going through that now. That's kind of a different situation than us. And we've seen that before, where people ask, okay, how do you do this when you have 3 dogs, a wife, a pair of twins, and you're working 2 jobs and trying to take all these people to daycare and everything else? Fuck, I have no idea how you do that.
I do, because that's how I started out as a writer. I was working a full-time job when I was writing, so I know how this works. The answer is time management.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to say, I've got 15 minutes. I'm going to write right now.
And back in the day, I wrote during my commute. I wrote at lunch. I wrote basically anytime I could. And usually
you and lunch breaks. Your lunch breaks were legendary.
Lunch breaks are still legendary. If I could get the fuck out of this house and go somewhere, they would still be legendary. But the those little pieces of time, those little moments, those just kind of add up.
Some people call those kind of things. Let me differentiate what I'm about to say from what we were just talking about.
Uh-oh.
Right now, we're talking about you've got to go ahead and find those times you can commit, even if they're short, and spend the time writing it. Because it's not the word count that matters in what you produce. It's how many minutes you put in the chair producing that word count that will get you the most number of words. If you focus on words and the number of them you get, you're not going to be as productive as focusing on spending more time in the chair doing the work. The words will follow if you do that. That's my personal opinion. But other people use sprints where they go ahead and set a timer and they write for that period of time. They're focused on it and they don't let themselves get distracted from what they're doing during that sprint. And then they can take
Pomodoro or whatever, if I remember correctly.
For the longest time, every time I heard Veronica say, or maybe it was Sue, that she completed a Pomodoro, I was sure that it was like a little stuffed animal that was being knitted. I had no idea what it was.
How exactly do you think somebody's going to knit a stuffed animal in 15 minutes?
I haven't got the slightest idea. But nevertheless, for the longest time, that's what I thought it was. Somebody was making these little animals and like hanging them up on a shelf. And I'm like, okay, I don't really get it, but sure, whatever.
Okay, now I see Veronica as Edward Scissorhands with knitting needles. Okay, this is just not good. Okay, and really, hair should not look that way against that pale of a face. Just saying. Anyway, Veronica knitting hands. There's a horror novel for you right there. No, I believe that's a 15-minute sprint.
It very well could be. Personally, what I do these days is I have something set up where I can do a 20-minute sprint and then take a 10-minute break before coming back to do the next 20-minute sprint.
Right. Which actually is a big thing. And that's why I get up to go coffee, right? Getting coffee makes me get up out of the chair, forces me to do this. While I'm doing that, the cat says hi, the dog says hi. Hi, I need stuff. Okay, great. Distract you, get a chore done. Oh, okay, I need to do this dishes while I'm here and get that done. Go back in. Okay. Pick up where you left off. And there you go. There you go.
A chess timer. An old school chess timer where I can set it up 20 and 10.
Yeah, and they make dozens and thousands of billions of apps for that as well.
Sure.
Although,
but the only way that I can write, the only way I can be productive is if I'm not connected to the internet. It is just the way it is. And I've tried electronic timers. The old school physical one just works better for me.
I was going to say before you interrupted me that the tactile experience of having an external device is a memento into itself, right? That you're on the clock, literally on the clock.
I thought about trying to buy a actual sand timer to watch the sands run out of my time.
Oh my God. That is the most pretentious bullshit I've heard you say in quite a while.
But I didn't actually do that. But I thought about it. Because I was looking for a way to have, I've got a schedule. I can't stop until it stops, whatever it is. That is how I get productive.
I was taking issue with your metaphor, not the actual device.
Well, I wasn't
like
thinking of it metaphorically. I was thinking of it in the actual physical. I'm not a whole metaphorical kind of guy. That's
but it was all dramatic and shit. You just
oh my God, I've got to finish this sentence. The time.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like in the background you hear the timer from 24. Bink, 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 bink. each second ticking off, just a grain of sand falling with a huge boom, boom with each one while Terry's frantically typing. I love this.
Some people use, oh God, I think it's something called Write or Die. And
Write or Die.
If you don't keep your word count up, it starts deleting your words. It starts backspacing on you.
Exactly.
That's bullshit right there. That's some serious bullshit right there.
You take a phone call and suddenly you forget to do that. You turn around, it's like, ah!
That scene that you just wrote, it's gone.
It's gone. Start over, chump. Actually,
that kind of shit is never going to happen with me. That's bullshit right there. But if it's your bag to where you feel you need to be under pressure like that, there you go. There's something else you can do.
If I was going to do that, the only way I would do that is if I was going to do it in like 5-minute increments. And it would only be if I was goddamn sure the dog is outside. I'm sitting, I've got everything I need. There's nothing that can interrupt me. And
nothing can stop me now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. How many songs just jumped into my head? They're all from the goddamn 80s. Ugh. Anyway. Did you just bong at me? Okay. My tinnitus is worse than ever right now. So, yeah. Life is great. What was I going to say? So you derailed me.
You derailed yourself on this one.
No, because you made that comment about the 80s song that sounded like an 80s song and brought 80s song to my mind, and you broke me.
Oh, sure. I'll take responsibility for that.
Here we go again. Back with you taking responsibility. I thought you were originally going to say you were going to get an old-timey... That's what I heard.
Oh, did I mention that we got a new alarm system?
No.
Yes. Day before yesterday.
That's a lovely addition to the podcast.
We had no choice because our old alarm system was installed in 95, and the alarm company said, yeah, February 1st, we're no longer supporting the hardware that you have at all. It's a hard stop. The entire network is going dead. So we've got to come out and we've got to replace your entire alarm system.
We're turning off the sole alpha deck machine running this.
Yes. The deck alpha. Alpha. That's what I worked on when I got to NASA the first time.
Yep.
That's what they had, deck alphas.
Yep. They're shutting off the last one in their data center, and it's the only thing that will run that old system.
And unfortunately, the alarm panel on the upstairs talks to you.
Oh,
and why Donna felt the need to actually turn the alarm on, I'm not sure, but she just did.
Lovely.
But it won't speak anymore. It's done.
Okay. It's done. It's done talking. All right. Well, that's good to hear.
That wasted half of the day for me in the afternoon, walking around with the guys. He replaced all the alarm pads and everything else that goes with it.
Oh man. Okay, that's muchy.
What were we talking about before the alarm totally destroyed our ability to speak?
When you were talking about the hourglass, before you said hourglass, I thought you were going to say, I had thought about getting an old-timey time clock, as in the one where you put a time card in and putting that on the wall.
A punch clock.
Punch clock. Go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Have you ever used a punch clock?
Yeah.
I have too.
Yeah. Looking back on it, it's like, what the fuck were we doing? Yep. Not that it mattered. There was really no ever overtime anyway. I wish we'd had those at the software development companies in my 20s and 30s. I might have had a 20s and 30s. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that's what you were going to talk about getting and putting on your wall. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious, but it wouldn't have exactly spurred me to write more.
Here's this lovely anchor. Let's just tie this around your mental self. Punch the clock. Right in the face.
I've got right now I'm writing in 20-minute blocks. I'm thinking of bumping it down to 15 minutes. Because it's easier to write a short sprint than it is to write a long one.
Yes.
Lots of short sprints makes for a lot of words.
Yeah, you're not running that. Otherwise, you're running marathons. There's a big difference. Mm-hmm. If I shoot to say I'm going to write this hour, I'm going to try and do it in like 12 to 15 minute chunks, or however long it takes me. Sometimes, and whenever I stop, I try and stop in mid thought or mid paragraph, so I know what I'm doing when I come back. And if I go over that time, fuck it, I go over that time. It means I'm lost in the work, which is good. It means that I'm where I need to be, so just going to roll with it until I get interrupted by the dog who needs to go potty, by the cat who's just being the cat, by my need for coffee, bladder relief, water. I forgot to take the meds, or I had to do the dishes, or I forgot to clean the cat litter. Those kind of things just kind of bubble up, and I can go take care of them. But again, I'm entitled. I get to sit on my ass at home all day. But there are strategies for getting all this done. Because we are accountable to no one but ourselves, which is bad.
Unless your spouse were to come in and go, how many words have you done? How many words have you done? You're not getting dinner if you don't have so many words.
I wish it worked that way.
So, what'd you do all day? Okay. Show me your word counts.
Here's your progress report. Honey, here's my work detail for this evening and my project report. And you list off all the things you got done. And did you get item number 41A done on the punch list, darling? No, honey, I did not, but I did get 42B done.
Oh, good boy.
And if you hit 10,000 words, out comes the negligee.
Whoa, now we're talking.
Motivation, baby.
That's some hot word counts there.
Yeah, that didn't sound at all creepy.
Well, get what you pay for. The fuck were we talking about?
I'm not sure what you were talking about. Oh.
Some hot word count. It's like Bitcoin. Ooh, baby.
Yeah, don't you wish you'd invested in Bitcoin way back in the day?
Not really. Not really.
I feel like I'm about to hear some kind of bullshit anti-establishment speech right now, so launch into it.
No. It's like asking me if I regret not getting into Enron's stock while I worked there. It doesn't really affect me because number one, I had no fucking money to buy such a thing. But number two, I am concerned, very concerned right now about what is going to happen with this stuff. Not because, it's icky, it's virtual. It's because I've looked at what NFTs are being used for, and I'm looking at some of the other nonsense going on. And it looks to me at this point that the only legitimate reason to be there is to have an illegitimate reason to be there, more and more. And the other thing is that it's going to get shut down.
Well, just think about this, though. Back when, it was first out, you could pick up a Bitcoin for $2.
Oh, you mean back when they were mining, they had nothing on the blockchain?
Back when they had nothing on the blockchain, and then here they are selling it. What? They were at 30 some odd thousand a Bitcoin just a bit ago. Spend $20, and you forget all about it, and then suddenly you're like, oh, wait, didn't I used to have a Bitcoin? You'll find 20 Bitcoins and sell it and go, there's the house, baby.
Fuck this writing shit, honey. We're gonna go buy a boat. We're done with this planet. Yeah.
Unfortunately, nobody ever does anything like that. That just never happens.
Very rarely. And you don't hear about those people because they flee into the night, never to be heard from again.
Shut their mouth and just go on about their business.
Exactly. I honestly have a certain ick issue with it because it is undeniably a great transactional tool. I love the idea of being able to transfer from any currency to this and back again with a fixed, understandable rate. Those rates, however, and some of these exchanges are very, very exposed, meaning there's not much that could keep a state actor from essentially, well, for lack of a better term, fucking kidnapping them under forfeiture, asset forfeiture laws, or anything else. And that's a problem. That's a serious problem. And I think that the fact that we have financial institutions getting to this game should scare the fucking shit out of everybody.
I just read something about some trading exchange for, I don't know if it was for Bitcoin or for some other cryptocurrency, being raided and basically stripped bare.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Not by government actors, by hackers.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though. If it's strippable by those folks, and when you say hackers by hackers, you don't know if those weren't, if that wasn't a state actor.
Odds are pretty good they were Russian.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe North Koreans. You never
or North
know.
Koreans, yes. That's entirely possible. Or Iranian, or North Korean, or American, or whomever.
Or whoever wants to cash in on your cryptocurrency.
Exactly. So again, there is a ick factor because it's like anything else in computers and really anything else with technology. People are moving so goddamn fast forward that they are not spending any time thinking about the consequences of where they're going. And my other problem with the whole concept of the crypto coin, the way it's done now, is it takes an enormous amount of energy to create that Bitcoin. An enormous amount of energy and an enormous amount of heat, an enormous amount of pollution created.
And the fact that, they're buying up all of the damn video cards means nobody else can get a decent video card.
Yeah, you fuckers. That's why NVIDIA came out with or was trying, before the chip shortage, was trying to come out with a version that was not usable for Bitcoin. It was only usable for video games. Because they were trying to basically keep people from, because what they were doing, the Bitcoin miners were going, oh, they're out of the high end ones. We'll just go get one of the high end graphic ones, which is so much cheaper because it's not made to do this, specifically made to do this, and then trick it into doing it. So yeah, I have a lot of reasons to believe that crypto is good technology. I think it does what it says it does. But it is an extremely vulnerable technology until it's completely decentralized. And even if it is completely decentralized, I will never trust the people running the nodes, ever.
If I remember correctly about Bitcoin, every time, like every 4 years or something like that, it halves the number of Bitcoins or something like that. That's going to make things pretty ugly over the years.
I don't know how any of that nonsense works. I haven't looked into it exactly. I'm just looking at it from a technology standpoint. Now, people will argue, well, this is no more vaporware than the dollars in your bank account now. Yes. And the government could seize that now. Yes. But we have a legal system. We have proof of ownership. If an exchange disappears, the exchange disappears. It doesn't fucking matter what the ledger said because it's gone. Whoever owned it, well, their name still might be on it, but somebody else has got the keys. And if you don't think that haven't already gotten all that stuff out there, you are out of your fucking mind. So I treat it with a fair amount of skepticism.
Skepticism is the word.
Why are writers for a living? I treat it all with healthy skepticism. Again, I'm not poo-pooing the technology. I'm not poo-pooing the idea of Bitcoin or any of these other things. I am poo-pooing them on the grounds they're not sustainable at present. They might be one day, but they are completely and totally vulnerable to hacking. They are completely and totally vulnerable to asset seizure through the nodes, which are not decentralized properly. And their efforts to centralize them or decentralize them and centralize them are fucking all over the place. And it's all basically somebody saying, we created the blockchain. Now we'll make it available for everyone, and they'll be able to invest in the production of a blockchain. But you don't have to own the whatever the node is to do it. And this caused a huge kerfluffle I saw on Twitter and went, whoa, I'm going to stay away from that. I don't want any of that to get on me. But it made some interesting points to go in there and watch the crypto bros slapping each other around and throwing terms I'd never heard of before and making all these wild statements that sounded like everything I heard in the .coms and from Enron. So that kind of shit scares the hell out of me for obvious reasons.
Well,
because I've seen this shit before.
Yeah, we've wandered quite a bit of ways away from writing, so we need to veer back into writing instead of cryptocurrency. You
made the mistake of asking me a question.
Apparently, I did.
It's been on my mind. Sorry,
there's nothing wrong with that. Mind. But I still would, next year I'm going to be buying a brand new computer system, and I'm hoping to get something better than dumb throw rocks at video card.
Actually, the shortages are improving for non heavy GPU or crypto coin design. I don't know what they call those goddamn things. It's just crypto, whatever the crypto series is or whatever they call them. Again, I are not an expert. I are not in the biz, so to speak. I are semi-disinterested technologist looking at technology and the crazy that is going on.
Well, right now, it looks like I'm going to be buying this new computer setup in May.
Okay.
End of May, probably. End of May, beginning of June. So say beginning of June is a decent target for me to start looking around for upgrading my PC to something, made in this decade.
Well, you have that saying, this decade. It doesn't really sound like a whole lot when you consider we're not even at 2022 yet. We're getting close, though.
Considering that my PC is almost 10 years old, it does mean a whole lot.
Let's not even talk about my laptop, shall we? Let's not go there. Yeah.
So we will hope that the supply shortage for video and CPU chips may be a little bit better by summer. Who hopes? Who can tell what we're going to get? But I'm going to hope.
Well, when you're ready to do that, we can talk, and I'll advise you on what not to buy.
We'll see what I'm probably going to look at pre-built systems.
Yeah.
Because these days it's just you don't save any money by building your own, really.
You don't.
Not anymore.
You don't. You absolutely don't, because they get the better deals on the volume discounts, and with the chip shortages, they have allotments they are guaranteed to get. Mm-hmm. So Corsair, whomever company, we're not sponsored by them. They're just companies I know of. I guess Alienware is another one. Whomever. If you go with them,
I absolutely bet that Dragon would fly on an Alienware machine, but they are pricey.
They are very pricey. They are very
and a
pricey.
Little flashy for my taste.
Well, that's a gaming PC. What'd you expect?
No, I mean literally. My stepson bought an Alienware machine about 5 years ago, and it had flashing lights on it.
Yes.
Way more than I would ever want to do something like that. No LEDs on my computer like that. Thank you. No adventures here. Thank you.
I can't imagine a more fucking annoying thing than having my goddamn keyboard flashing and blinking while I'm trying to get words down. I can't think of a more annoying thing. Or my CPU blasting out, psychedelic color effects while I'm trying to focus.
Yeah, that would make me crazy.
Now, I don't even know why you would want that on during gaming, but I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'm just saying I don't get it. I'm old. I understand.
I'm in the same boat as you are. All I did was shake my head and go, okay,
all right.
whatever.
I don't know why you need that. Looks kind of cool. Would annoy the fuck out of me, you goddamn youngin', but you know, you do you.
Yeah. And when the computer upgrade happens, the wife will undoubtedly get an identical system. So I'm gonna end up buying a system that would be good for Photoshop and whatnot as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
It's not exactly, you know, like much of an increase. It's just adding additional RAM, which I would already get. So the system I would get for running Dragon is, you know, if I buy one similar to one that she buys, I'll be doing great. So yeah.
Yeah, there's $6,000 to $7,000 of your life gone.
No, it's going to be less than 2,000.
What do you think?
I found a it was an HP that had all of the things that I'm looking for that I could get it the PC that I wanted. If I wanted to buy it right now, $1,500.
Okay.
So I have no doubt that it'll still be under $2,000 when summer rolls around. But I'm adding that extra $500 in as cushion because who knows what the hell. And that's with a moderately decent video card. So I'll take it.
Yeah, it should be good for y'all. I wish I could afford more beef. Beefy.
Well, like I said, I run a PC until it dies. And I've been running the one I'm using for writing for almost a decade at this point. Mm-hmm. So that's the rule. You buy the best you can absolutely afford because you're going to be with
or more than you can actually afford because
exactly so.
Because you're going to be living with that fucking thing a long time.
There's no easy, quick upgrades every year for something like this. My PC is not my phone.
No. Now, if I were to get into streaming on a regular basis, once Tachus Fiber gets into my neighborhood, which they've got all the flags up that they're planning it now and everything's moving along.
That's exciting. You mean we both could have fiber?
Hopefully mine actually works. Anyway.
You know, as you said that, you were frozen. So I thought that was hysterically funny.
Anyway, as I was saying, if I had the money to do that, then yeah, I would be buying, God, I would need so much bullshit. Probably need a streaming PC. Then you need the other things. I would need a soundboard. If we're going to do Twitch kind of things, I need another thing I could do things with and blah, blah, blah. I'd have to learn how to use all this shit. And then you'd have to keep adding out and switching out components on a regular basis. Then we'd have to get technology sponsors to help us with it. Then we'd have to, no.
Yikes.
Not right now.
I just want to write.
Yeah, I'd like to write. Then again, have to make money any way you can. Shake that money maker. Braising again. Maybe. You're just staring at me. Anyway, you can get lost in the technology monster of that whole thing. I would like more firepower than I have because of Final Cut, because of Logic, because of the development things I do. It's always better to have faster, more machine. GPU is going to help me great with Final Cut. Not going to help me much with Logic Pro. Not going to help me much with coding. Well, that's not true unless I'm running simulations, in which case it would be well worth the money. But that's not money I can spend or have anytime soon. So I make do with what I got. Maybe that's why my iPad keyboard gave up the ghost. So now I have an iPad that I can't write on. My laptop is too old to run latest Mac OS, so it's running Ubuntu now. And it's so old that some of the components are starting to die. Like, for instance, it no longer hibernates when you put the screen down. So I have to literally shut it down every time I would put it to sleep. I have to shut it down and then start it back up again because it's fucked. So it's falling apart.
I have a little keyboard that I was using with my iPad to write on. So maybe I'll have to see if I can find it for you.
Yeah, I've got one that'll work, but it was in the case, and they won't fit unless our iPads were the same size. So the
probably not.
Yeah. So that model's been out of service for quite a while. So there's no chance of getting
Which iPad model was it?
I think it's the Pro 12.9 inch.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I have an ancient iPad 2.
Yeah. No.
Once again, Terry, ancient technology.
Yeah, ancient technology.
Ancient technology secret.
So that's what I got to deal with. I got to deal with what I got. You know, maybe at some point I'll go, hey, does anybody have some useless tech lying around that I would appreciate having? Then, you know, maybe get it that way, but there's no reason for it now.
My microphone is moving.
I wonder why. It's back. It has returned with a vengeance.
She says you're talking. I was going to listen.
She knows nothing. She has ideas. No clue on how to make them happen, but she has ideas. Oh, look, it's so pretty. Murder mittens. I made a joke about something, and Brent responded with the cat looks like murder mittens. And I had never heard that term before. It's awesome. I like that one. Murder mittens.
It's totally a thing. Now, some people, when they write, they use just the keyboard. And so having something that just is text, an ancient PC that they can just write in Notepad,
yep,
write their stuff with the keyboard. Hey, I wrote a couple of novels in Vi, so yeah.
We've had this discussion. It always leads to you poo-pooing on anything that's not Vi, but, you know, whatever.
No, it's not that. I know that at work, when I was back at NASA, you know, one of my friends kept getting on me about not using Emacs so that I could have, you know, all this additional functionality. I'm like, I wasn't trained in Emacs, so I'm used to using the command line on Vi, so there you go.
Command line Emacs, command line Vi.
But whatever. I never got used. I learned what I was taught on, and that's how everybody is. Oh, yeah. They learn to do something and then they stick with it, even if there's something better available.
Usually, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and go, I got to upgrade my brain.
It's one of the reasons that my wife bought me Dragon to experiment with, and I've gone through a number of iterations, and I use it now instead of the keyboard for doing that first draft because it's faster than my slow ass typing.
Typing is usually not my problem. Typing speed.
What is your typing speed?
Probably 60 to 80.
Mm-hmm. Mine is 30 or less.
Yeah. Not
very fast. I was never trained as a typist. I never learned to type. I'm a hunt and pecker, so you know, you gotta deal with it. The Dragon's much better for me because I can get those rough draft words a lot faster. I can't get anything like all these people go, oh, you can do 5,000 words an hour. Yeah, blow me. I can't do 5,000 words an hour. Not have them be worth a damn. My dictation speed is about correcting things as I go and doing things like that is just a hair better than 60 words a minute. So I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah, as you should be. What was I going to say? Okay. The class I took in high school that I got so much shit for was taking typing. I took one semester of typing. And that changed my fucking life because my handwriting has always been garbage. My motor control of my hands is not what it should be. And I've never been able to I was just never able to pick that shit up. So that allowed me to actually do stuff. A screamer says goodbye. Terry has booted the cat from the room. There was glorious silence or hissing. I don't know what that was.
She's already hit the bottom of the stairs. She was ready to get out of here. Keep talking. I'm listening.
That typing class made all the difference for everything that I did from that time forward. It was definitely worth it. Learning to touch type was just, man, it makes all the difference in doing anything as far as coding goes or writing, obviously. But it really will change things. It's probably worth, if you don't know how to type, it's not that hard to learn. You just got to do it. You learn by doing it. You learn by doing it the right way. which is funny because then we can talk about the differences between a QWERTY keyboard and a Dvorak keyboard. And then you can really get the shit slapped at you for being confusing. Terry, have you ever used a Dvorak? Probably not. I'm going to say things like that and ask him questions he can't answer because he's not currently at his microphone. We're not really sure what he's doing. It might involve something.
You probably don't want to know what I was doing.
Probably not, but I hope.
But I'm familiar with what the Dvorak keyboard is, and I can't say that I've used it, but I've looked at it, and I thought it was an interesting idea.
Oh, it's a fantastic idea. If you don't know what it is, it's an alternate keyboard set, which was designed from the ground up to make it easier for people to learn how to type, as opposed to a QWERTY typewriter, which was put together by sadists.
The QWERTY typewriter keyboard was put together to slow down typists.
Yes. And it shows.
The reason being, you used to have these typewriters that had the arms with the keys on it. So every time you'd hit the key, an arm would come up. If you would go too fast, the arms would lock. So you couldn't go beyond a certain speed without risking disaster.
Which is what always happened to me when I was on the manual typewriter that my parents had. I got to the point where I could not type on the damn thing because I was going so fast that the keys kept getting crossed. That's pretty sad.
Sadly enough, as bad of a typist as I am, if I tried to use a Dvorak keyboard, I would be insane within 3 days.
Oh yeah, at this point. There's no way. It's like somebody says, "Oh well, we can change this quarterback's throwing motion. We can do this." Okay, you're going to change the throwing motion of a quarterback who's learned to throw that ball in that way since he was 10 years old. And has evolved that over time to what they are now at 23 years old after doing nothing but football. Everything muscle memory for the last several years intensively. You're telling me you're going to change their throwing motion overnight. It's not happening. Not happening. You may be able to tone it. You may be able to perfect it, but you're not going to be able to change it, except in some rare cases. But I hear those comments. I'm like, you guys are fooling yourselves, because that's what it's like. That trying to relearn all that, it'd be hell. It would be absolute hell.
One of the things, even with dictation, I try different things. I've tried going out and walking the neighborhood and recording on a handheld device and then transcribing it when I get back.
Right.
That didn't work out well for me because the quality is not quite as good when I do that, and I can't control the size of the paragraphs. I talk too damn long. The editing was taking longer than the time I saved.
Which was my experience with Otter.
I might get 90 words a minute while walking, but they're not usable words. They're not as usable. So sometimes faster is not necessarily better. Sitting around the office, if I want to be chained to the desk, I've got this Blue Snowball, which is a good mic, but it chains me to being right here while I'm talking. So I'm not a fan of that.
So why haven't you gotten a Bluetooth microphone? There we go.
So I have this that it's a Bluetooth microphone for those of you not looking on the screen here, and it works. It is almost as accurate as the Snowball, but I can wander around the office. I can have some mobility. And so I tend to use the Bluetooth microphone a little bit more than I use the desktop version, because I like to be able to get up and stand there and do my business.
Phrasing? Phrasing? Phrasing! Phrasing!
If you feel like we need to jump into phrasing. No, I just want to be able to have some mobility around the office and not feel like I'm sitting here chained to the microphone right here in my face.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the standing desk. I got my paddleboard now. I've got that going for me, and when I stand up, I'm able to move. I'm able to fidget. I'm able to dance if I want to, if you know what I mean. Whenever I'm stuck on something, instead of tapping my foot, I can just basically make myself move. My feet are constantly getting uncomfortable, so I have to shift them, which is good. Not uncomfortable, but it's planned uncomfortable, if you know what I mean. Have to constantly move them, shift them, and everything else. It keeps me going. It keeps me moving around, and you don't fall into that slug mode.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I think you were looking at me, with the side eye going, I think he's being funny, when I said, I wish I could just get something like an Oculus and slap that on my head and write with the text being displayed right there and not have to worry about watching the monitor.
Yeah. That'd be good. That would be good.
I don't know that the technology works that way, mind you.
Well,
I have no idea.
Actually it could. Wow, that's a creepy idea. But then editing it would still be a bitch.
Well, when I'm dictating the first draft, I don't do a whole lot of editing. I'll command it to correct words that I see that it made a mistake, and I don't have to touch the keyboard for that. I can command the software to correct whatever word I'm looking for. And 90 times out of 100, that works just fine for what I need to do. The editing passes with the keyboard come after the draft is written. And that's not using voice capture software. That's using the keyboard.
That'd be really cool if I could walk around. If I go walk around the house. Well, okay. Here's what we would have. All right, hardware, software manufacturers, creators. So
you have to be able to see what's in front of you if you're going to walk around the house.
I should now speak to you. I should now say this. What I want in my augmented reality is not fucking Pokemon popping up out of corners or, monsters jumping out of the walls, although that would be fucking cool. And I will send you the psychiatrist bills for all the goddamn therapy I'll need, not to mention my stint in the asylum. I want my augmented reality. I want my eyeglasses to have part of a pane there where I can see the actual information from my computer, a tab, a window, whatever, like my Scrivener, for instance. And that while I was talking with a jawbone microphone, so it's picking up the tonals from what I'm saying, after training the AI, it knows what the vibrations sound like as opposed to the sound of my voice. It knows what the vibrations mean because it's not going through an audio processor, but has the same impact with better accuracy than what Dragon does. And I want to be able to use voice commands via an oral user interface like you're doing with Dragon now to correct things, leave notes for myself or anything else, and be able to easily scroll up and down with voice commands or gestures in front of the augmented glasses. That's what I want. And I want the other side, and I do not want that to be the whole screen. It needs to float atop what's there.
Truth, because I don't want to trip over a cat.
Exactly. And at the same time, I want the option to make it opaque. And then I want the other lens completely free.
Sort of sounds like, Google Glass.
Except not sucky and shitty and overblown and too complex to actually use. Yeah. And actually designed to do something useful. Yeah. Something like that. That's what I want in my augmented reality. The rest of this stuff could go fuck itself. That's what I want in my augmented reality, because then I can walk down the street. Well, I shouldn't. Can walk down the street and dictate at the same time and see what I'm doing and not get run over by a car, because I'd be able to see what's going on. But we all know I get run over by the car because I get really deep into the words and start doing stuff and forget I was walking. And then I need a seeing eye dog to keep me from walking into traffic. I should just get a goddamn treadmill. Anyway, that would be awesome to be able to do, or sit out in the hammock like Terry, except hopefully not wearing my thong. Well, we couldn't call it wearing the thong. Use your imagination. Oh, wait.
Don't use your imagination.
I'm sorry for that. Being able to sit out in the hammock or while I'm barbecuing or grilling or doing the dishes and be able to do that shit. when I'm doing mindless tasks, like mowing the lawn. Of course, then the lawn's like all over the place because Paul was meandering while he was thinking.
Yeah, good luck with all of that lawnmower noise getting anything usable.
That's why the jawbone.
Even so, I'm betting there's going to be enough vibration from just the lawnmower exhaust to shake your face and throw it off.
I have an electric mower.
Oh, you goddamn yuppie.
Are you kidding? Oh my God, that thing saved my life. It's like a third of the weight of my old gas mower. And I don't have to worry about it having to fix the goddamn fucking carburetor because the fucking fixative doesn't ever fucking work every fucking summer. So no, I think I made a very wise choice.
What do you think, Romeo?
He thinks purr.
He thinks I'll just sit here and let you pet me.
Yeah, pretty much. Strangely enough, this one has exactly the same expression as that one, even though they're... Wow. At some point, we're going to have a shadow cam. You know, I just basically put here and I can point at him, a little window show up in the bottom left of my screen. And then we could have Terry's cat cam, you know, in the
They come to me, corner. Man. I don't even need a separate cam for that.
Well, yeah, but you could have the external Terry cam, the Terry exterior cam, you know, like from that corner up there.
Yikes. I can just stream it live on the web 24/7. God only knows what you're going to see if you look in this room.
Whenever Terry sits down to write, he punches his time clock, the hourglass flips over, and then the cams come on. Live writer cam.
Want to hear what the writer's doing? Watch the cam.
Wouldn't you like to hear what the writer's writing? 99 cents a minute. First 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe I should do a Patreon video of, you know, me recording with Dragon. That would be boring as all hell.
Yeah. Someone's like, you should do a writing stream. I'm like, are you fucking nuts? You're really just going to see me sit there and smack my head on the ground? I'm not going to show you what's on my screen. That's not happening. So all you're going to do is have a view of my face the whole time.
That's actually kind of entertaining right there, but
and then what happens when I start scat singing or, you know, copyright violations galore as Paul starts, you know, singing from Russia's compendium, although we can't really call what he does singing. It's making tonal sounds that may have once upon a time been considered singing by deaf people, but still it could rattle off the entire lyrics to the entire album of Permanent Waves and, you know, get away with that kind of thing. Maybe, but everybody would stop listening after I tried to imitate Geddy Lee's voice for more than 5 seconds. It wouldn't be good. So there's a reason why I'm not allowed to stream my writing sessions. You don't want to see them. Be that as it may, writing stream, I'm just not, we don't do anything interesting.
It's not exciting enough.
No, it's not. It's not exciting.
It's not like streaming your gaming session when you're playing a video game.
Yeah, or a role-playing game, right? Session, tabletop, whatever. It's not the same thing at all. This is boring as shit. You do not want to see this. This is not what you want. What? Not what you think it is. Now, the excitement could come in the editing part. You know, as you're reading it back, going, "Who the fuck wrote this shit?" Or you know, the expressions on some of your biggest doozies. That's more like YouTube clips or TikToks.
When you get back there and you go, what the fuck was I thinking when I wrote this?
Yeah,
was I high?
You just read it aloud. Oh, yes. I remember now. I was on Purple Hippo Monkey Kush that day. Oh, it was very fine vintage.
If that's not actually a blend, I believe it should be.
Yeah, exactly. If that's not a blend, it should be. Get on that, herbalists. It was a particularly good vintage that day. You know, it's like, what the fuck? No, that is not how that works. It's not how that works at all.
Yeah, I'm afraid that, you know, sharing what writers do while they're doing it is, you don't want to see that sausage being made, folks. Just, you don't want to do it.
No, that's just, how do you like watching paint dry while somebody makes annoying sounds on a keyboard? And occasionally hums to themselves, yells at a cat, picks one up, says lovey-dovey things to the cat, throws the cat down and gets back to typing on the keyboard or talking to themselves. Yeah, it's not, no, we don't do anything interesting. At least I don't. Doesn't sound like you do anything interesting either.
No, pretty much not.
Yeah. Now, if you wanted
Not
to
interesting
watch
enough for anybody else to watch. The interesting part is the final product.
Yeah. And what it took to get there. Like I
The
said,
journey to get there, not so interesting.
yeah, it's the destination, unfortunately. That's important to everybody else. To you, it's the journey. To them, it's the destination.
When can I get my hands on it?
Virtual or otherwise. What else could you have besides physical or virtual hands?
I don't know.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Spiritual hands.
Spiritual
Where you just want to feel the spirit of the writing rather than the end product.
You'll be so proud of me today. I was trying to describe a tsunami, and I came up with the term liquid kaiju. And it just went bong. And it rang in my skull for a minute, and it was inelegant and brute, and I still love the concept.
I never come up with really cool things like that. I'm pretty much like a workman writer. I don't come up with all the fancy phrases.
That wasn't a fancy phrase. It was just a simple two things put together.
Yeah, I never do that.
It just popped into my head. I didn't try and think of it that way. It just popped into my head. That's why it was so cool. I need to reword it a little bit, made it a little more flary, but it was good. It was a good thought. And then I went, can I write a book about a liquid kaiju? Why couldn't I? I'm Paulie motherfucking Cooley. I can do whatever the hell I want. Right?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, 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 whoop. That's what we say anyway. You look tired, my friend.
Well, last night I was up editing, doing stuff in this book. I did it all day and was about 10 o'clock at night when I finished what I needed to do. So last night was a late night, and then I got up early this morning and jumped back into it to finish my part of the editing on that book so that I was done.
Well, see, that explains why I saw something from you online very late last night, and then saw you online earlier this morning, earlier than I've ever seen you online. Notice I didn't say hi because I figured you had shit to do.
It's truth. I only wrapped up what I needed to get done maybe right before we interacted to start the show early.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only just finished what I needed to finish.
I was actually getting back into writing when you said, well, fuck it. If you're going to talk dirty to me, we might as well go ahead and start the show. It's not quite what you said, but I'm going to say that's what you said.
It's pretty close, so I'll accept it.
It's close enough.
As the saying goes, it's unusual, but I'll allow it.
It is technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Says any lawyer ever.
Telling you, I sent you that episode, the Futurama episode with that in it. Best episode ever. Best episode ever. Describes your bureaucracy in so many perfect ways. Oh, it's awesome. Anyway, how would you make what we do interesting?
I wouldn't.
Besides, Monty Python tried to make it interesting in a sketch. They have the writer, some famous writer that they made up, and there's like he's in a stadium, and they've got him down there on his desk with the typewriter, and they start the horn, and then he just sits there, and the commentators are critiquing the rate his sentences are coming out, and his backspaces and everything else. It's just like, that's what it would be like.
Well, Harlan Ellison used to write short stories in a department store window while people are watching on a typewriter. And then he would, as soon as he finished a page, he would slap it on the glass and tape it in place so that they could read it and then keep on going.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
I don't know how many times he did it, but he did it at least once.
It's going to the bar or writing. The same kind of thing. Feel like you're kind of on a stage sometimes when people come over and they're just kind of like, occasionally you can feel people trying to see what you're doing, which is a little uncomfortable.
Weird, little
yeah, it's
spooky.
A little creepy. It's like, oh, I wonder what kind of porn he's looking at. Oh my God, he's putting words down. What the fuck is he saying there? Why is he talking about somebody's cooch?
Saw it go by on Facebook the other day. Some guy sitting there and his mom going, yeah, the kids are over here. Where are the kids? Where are the grandkids? Oh, I went ahead and started up the anime you have on your computer. I don't have any anime on.
Oh, no.
Things sure are quiet from back in that corner.
Oh, boy. Fisherman's Wife and Fisherman's Wife, too.
You know, I wouldn't know any of the names, but thanks for tossing them out there.
Phrasing, again, that's from an Archer episode. I actually have never seen, I can't remember what the stuff is called.
Hentai.
Hentai, thank you. Hentai. Krieger says mushi, sushi, and hentai, or sushi and movie night. Mushi. Yeah. It's a shame you never got into that show. It's ridiculous.
Who has time? There's so many things that I want to say that I just don't have time.
Yeah, but see, these are the 20-minuters, right? You put it on there, and while you're drinking coffee or whatever else at the end of the day, you watch an episode. 20 minutes, 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Not a big time investment. And they're all self-contained, and they don't really work on top of each other, so they're just like static.
Oh, heck, I'll just go ahead and watch the Finding Bigfoot episodes. Have I mentioned that my wife has really strange taste in things that she watches? And by the way, things I've learned from watching that show is just about anything could be a sign that Squatch were there.
Have you seen Squid Game?
I have not.
Okay, we talked about Squid Game.
We have a little bit.
A little bit. I was thinking, I wrote an essay about it and was talking about the what I thought it was going to be versus what it ended up being. And yet the two things are very related. I was likening it to reality TV, right? Which is not even close to being fucking real. Everything's just as scripted on there as you don't think it is. But that notwithstanding, when looking at it through that lens, there are certain things that they do with some of these shows. They put in ringers here or there or whatever. Well, same kind of things happens in Squid Game, which I noticed, which is not a reality TV show. People are fucking dying. and to their knowledge, they're not on TV. But that's a whole nother thing. But it's very, very different. There's no, this so-and-so is going to get booted out this week on Survivor. Who the fuck cares? Who died today? And how did they go? And how many did they take with them? And why?
We should just go ahead and have Running Man as the the TV show du jour.
Very well. We're not too far from it in certain instances. It crosses this line, right, between the pretense, the facade, and the menagerie. It's just all these kind of different layers to it, and there's somebody pulling the levers on each layer. There's the group running the game, there's the group organizing the game, there's the group playing the game, and then there are the people watching the game. And who the fuck are all these people? You don't know. That's the beauty of it. The contestants because you get to learn them. And the contestant is the wrong word, in my humble opinion. Players. You get to know the players. I didn't think I'd like it. I loved it. It was great. It was awesome. I was really hoping they would not do a season 2, but they are.
They canceled Cowboy Bebop before the season was, very fresh.
Yeah, they did. Did not get good reviews. Got slammed to shitting back.
I watched the first episode, and I'm sitting there going, I'm not sure I'm fond of seeing anime done by real people because I'm not sure it translated so well. Yeah,
it sounded to me like, and I'm not familiar. I haven't watched the source material. Something I need to do. An oversight I need to address. But I don't think there are certain things you just cannot do, that don't make
But
sense.
they tried. They tried.
Well, and then on top of that, they did some monkeying with the story, and I'm not really sure they did themselves any favor. From what I've read, like I said, I don't know the source material.
I'm like you. I'm not familiar with the source material, so I wouldn't know.
But I read like 4 reviews from 4 different sources that I do kind of trust and went, oh, okay. But somebody did say that it doesn't matter what you do. Anime fans are never going to accept a live action anything. It doesn't matter how well you do that. They're going to be pissed. And it's true. There's always going to be a certain section, and they'll be very fucking loud that this should not be done, just like they didn't want V for Vendetta adapted, or Watchmen for that matter. Sadly,
there's a grouping of fans in any particular genre that are loud and obnoxious that don't want whatever it is that's being done. And they'll take a dump. They'll do an upper decker right there to go ahead and try to stop it.
Oh God, I did not need to hear those 2 words put together today. If you don't know what an upper decker is, it's when you shit in a toilet tank. So next time somebody flushes it, oh, the joy. Oh, the joy. Anyway, I learned that from Archer. I had no idea that was a thing until I watched Archer.
I'm sure when you learned it, you were like, the fuck?
That's exactly what I said. And Archer, they still don't explain what it was. I had to ask somebody because they were laughing so hard. I'm like, what the fuck is an upper decker? And they went, you don't know what an upper decker is? I'm like, no, I please enlighten me. I got the description. I went, I wish I didn't know that.
Fans are toxic. Fans are utterly, rabidly toxic.
By virtue of being fanatics, they're toxic.
Well, they can be anyway. I should say.
Yeah. Somebody said was bitching about the purity of some character, and then it was like, why can't it be pure like the 75 Batman or whatever, the original Batman? And somebody went, oh, my dear darling child, have you forgotten when this thing was made? Here's what the original Batman looked like. And there was like silence. It's like,
let's bring in Adam West to discuss this.
Oh my God. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're grousing.
What?
I was talking about this post.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not grousing.
Not you. But I mean, that was the point, though. These are people who are like, they've shit back on. It's like, this is the way I know it, and it's the only way it's ever been. No, that's not how that works at all in comic books, especially in this multiverse bullshit that DC and Marvel have. Nothing is guaranteed to be unique. They'll cross them all over and incestuize and become just repopulated like bunnies. It doesn't matter.
In one of the Spider-Man movies, Tom Holland was having fight scenes with Michael Keaton, and every time he'd hit him, Michael Keaton would go, "I'm Batman," and mess him up, and keep making Batman quotes all during the shooting. You're muted, so nobody knows what you said.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, my mic cord came unplugged for some reason. Yes, like that. I'm Batman. That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. What is he supposed to be, Vulture or something?
I don't know what character it is, but something like that. Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't pretend to know all the characters there, but
I don't pretend to know shit about Spider-Man. Actually, it kind of goes for most of Marvel, DC. I really don't know all that much. I probably know more about Hellblazer and Preacher than I do anything else of anybody else's stuff.
Looking at all of the various Marvel stuff that's being put out right now, my wife and I are watching Hawkeye as it comes out, and I'm enjoying it because Renner and the actress who's playing the other role, their repartee back and forth is just amazing. The way that they interact off of each other and the way they chatter back and forth is just really amusing to me.
It's just a really good, but it's a buddy cop relationship, right?
It pretty much is.
Yeah.
It pretty much is exactly that.
And that's perfect because you can basically put the brain on autopilot and just enjoy it. It doesn't have to be anything overly dramatic.
As the two of them are sitting there and she's busy explaining, and we're partners. And he's like, we're not partners. We're not friends. Every time she says it, oh, well, we're kind of friends. No, we're not friends at all.
It's a buddy cop movie. It's Lethal Weapon part, whatever.
It's any one of those things.
It's a comic book.
Looking back, watching the Disney Plus thing for Loki was, I think, the best experience out of the Marvel universe, because you got to take somebody that was an amusing villain and watch his world get taken upside down like a snow globe and shaken like this, and him having to try to figure out anything at all about how to get himself out of that, and whether or not whatever he was doing was right or wrong. And having to come to realizations about himself that he didn't like.
Yeah, I could say the same thing about Lucifer. It's the same conceit to a certain degree. Except
that Lucifer never really had any self-awareness of just, how anything about him.
Before the show, you were correct. He had no self-awareness at all.
Season absorbed that it's all about him.
He's a lot less narcissistic than he starts out with. What does that say?
Well, when you go from 100 to 98, you're still pretty there.
Now, wait a minute. I think he went from like 100 to 60. Give him some credit here.
Okay, maybe 75.
He's Satan. Come on. Anyway, the that's why you keep coming back to those characters. That's why you keep coming back to watch them. Is the dialogue, is the relationships. When you break that, you have a problem. And I think sometimes the folks that try and do these far out alternate reality strands of the multiverse kind of forget that sometimes. It's not about the technology or the powers they have or anything else. The whole idea is, how is this character unique and how do they interact with the world around it? Well, that takes showing the relationships. Otherwise, it's just noise. To me, anyway, it's just noise. Maybe that's why I kind of lost favor with all of it. Just stop meaning it, having any meaning for me.
Did you say Lost?
Yeah.
I never saw a single episode of Lost.
No, I didn't say Lost. I didn't want to talk about that. I was just saying that I think it's something those properties lost. The magic of that was lost for me. So that's why I stopped watching it. I never watched an episode of Lost. Never seen it. Never seen one. Can't say I missed anything. My life is still as bereft of joy as it was before I decided not to see Lost. It will be just as bereft of joy afterwards. Possibly more joyless because somebody else fucking didn't stick the landing, from what I hear. So why would I even try?
We're watching season 3 of Lost in Space that just dropped on Netflix the other day. And it's interesting watching how the children have changed as they've grown up.
What's been 3 years since that started?
Something like that.
Season 3, but it's been 3 years of filming.
The boy that played Will Robinson has changed to a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't know it was the same kid, you'd be like, what the hell happened to you? Because he's like tall and things have changed for him. He doesn't look like the young boy anymore. He looks like the young man in being, in growing.
That changes the tenor of the show. He's no longer looks weak and helpless, but growing and
he's gotten a little schemy.
Oh no! How dare he?
He's been hanging around Dr. Smith a little long. She's rubbed off on him a little.
I still haven't seen season 2. Yeah, I got shit to do. Fuck that noise! I got shit to do.
Having grown up watching Lost in Space, the original version. This version is pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great way of taking the themes and the conceits of that particular story, changing all the background up a little bit, and then playing it out for a new audience with updated graphics and events. And it works out pretty well.
I did like the way the first season they weren't completely alone. I think having that time to set up the universe, set up the people, the kinds of people that they're with, the kinds of people they're not interested in being with, and the kinds of people they're in the situation with them fleshes everything out. We get a chance to see all those characters react with people that are not going to be in the show later. And we get to find out things that other characters don't know about one another.
I'm going to go ahead and cut you off right there and say that if you don't think those people are going to be in the show later, you're wrong.
I'm talking about the ones that aren't dead.
There are plenty of them that are there that aren't dead that are still in the show.
Oh, boy. Anyway,
You watched season 1, right?
Yes.
Did you watch all the way to the end?
Yes.
So you know they got back to the Resolute?
Yes.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
So the crew, the surviving crew of the Resolute is still happening in season 3. There are still extra people.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm just talking about the main players. I'm talking about Dr. Smith, for instance, because that is a very complex character that you actually would have to have time to show what was going on there.
Yes.
And that was a very convenient way to do it. It also allowed them to actually create a history for the robot.
And you've got Don West. He's not your military man like in the original series.
More of an engineer type.
Now he's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Engineer, mechanic, whatever word you want to use. And he's a little shady too, whereas the original Don West was not.
They're actually all kind of shady if you think about it. They've all kind of got there's some stuff going back there in everybody. There's nobody as pure as gold there. Some of them have very pure hearts, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to do some really shitty things.
The only ones that came into this series without having shady things in their past that they've done are the kids.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody, all of the adults,
else.
There's a lot of shady stuff going on.
There's like real life, Sorry, none of us are perfect, and also one of the unfortunate things about celebrities, people who are really talented that become celebrities, is people will get to find out that they're really not necessarily human beings you want to spend any fucking time with.
There was one of the episodes of Hawkeye was titled "Never Meet Your Heroes."
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I try not to hold people up to some kind of fanatical standard and think they're great and awesome and everything if I don't know them, because I don't know them. And I don't know what's really there. I can speak to their work. I don't want to speak about them because I don't know what's going to happen.
If you love somebody because of their art, focus on what you love about them, because when you start digging deeper, you're going to find things that you don't agree with.
Yeah, you're going to find some things you're like, oh my God.
If I didn't go to the movies because some actor was in the movie that did things that I disagreed with, I'd never see a damn movie in my life. So I have to focus on the aspects that matter. If you're a movie maker, I care about your ability to make movies. I don't care about whatever else you're doing.
I'm not even going to step on that landmine. I'm going to stay the hell away from it.
Yeah, let's not bring Sean Penn into this, all right?
Why are you bringing Sean Penn into this?
Because he's a great example of you really don't want to know anything about his personal life. You really don't want to know.
He got his shit together later. His early personal life was 30 years of disaster. I think he might have his shit together now. I have no idea. I don't keep up on that crap.
Back when New Orleans was flooded during Katrina, he got it back in the news, and he was saying some pretty wacky things, and you're like, I don't know. I don't think I want to know about this guy.
It just pulled him out of a bar.
We're going to get a boat and we're going to go down Louisiana with our shotguns. That's what we're going to do. I have no idea why he had a shotgun and was going down to Louisiana, but nevertheless, he was.
Probably to save everybody from the alligators that were encroaching on the land.
I don't think that was the case.
Atlantic Ocean alligators. I'm telling you, man.
I'm pretty sure there was
saltwater alligators
going on with him.
Saltwater alligators were coming up the channel, didn't have their passports. It was horrible. It was awful.
Sometimes you see an actor or a sports person and their real life behavior, and you just want to start backing away slowly. Don't turn your back on them. Just back away slowly.
Anytime I see Randy Quaid, what he says, it's just, yeah.
He's a great example. Back
I don't want to get
slowly.
any on me. I don't want to get any of that on me. Yeah. You, sir, should be seeking help.
Emptying the shitter. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Every time you did. Never mind.
Shitter's full. That was his saying from the shitter's full. Yes, full. It is.
Oh my God.
On that note, we should probably just go ahead and bring this to a close.
Because
the shitter's full.
I'll just say this, okay? No matter how insane you think you can make a character, wackadoo lunatic, there's somebody out there that said, hold my beer, years before you thought of what this character did. There's somebody out there who's worse, did something even crazier. So never think, wow, nobody would ever believe that. Fucking do it anyway, because guess what? Everybody will believe that no one would ever believe that actually happened, because it did. Prove me wrong. Now I've gone that circular. If you have a comment about this show or anything Terry and I said that bothered you, you should send it directly to Trash. You can contact us at show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can tweet me at Paul_E_Cooley. You can find us on Facebook at the Listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group, where Terry runs the whole shebang. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast to see our ugly mugs. And oh my God, so many cats.
My God.
We have to thank our wonderful host, Pod Hoster, who makes all 14 bazillion episodes of the Dead Robot Society available for your ear holes. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive content like live shows, which we have not done for December.
We need to do one.
Hint. And at that $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Summer Wilson, Tony L. Joy, Andrew Smallwood, Veronica Jaguar, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, Chris Winder, and Isabel Cushy. Thank you, patrons. Thank you to all of our patrons who make this show possible. We very much
Thank you so much for putting up with us.
Yeah, that too. And now that we've done all that, there is something we need to discuss.
And what's that, Paul?
It's a very important part of our diet, Terry. Very important part of our diet. Did you know that the average human without caffeine will simply fall over dead within 5 minutes? You have to have a steady roar of caffeine. And the best caffeine you can get is get yourself some Corpse Coffee at corpsecoffee.com. Check out their boutique teas, or wonderful hand-roasted beans that we love so much, and their fabulous webcomic, and helps support the show, helps support their small business, and keep Terry and I well caffeinated so we can do the things that you like us to do. Wow,
and also the things that you don't like us to do, but that's just the way it rolls.
You should have just said phrasing, and that would have gone there all by itself. And with that, we are out of here, folks. Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.